Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Yeah, I know for Adventures OCRWC, you're not allowed to go on the obstacles or anything beforehand. What is it like for European OCR championships? Where like, are you allowed to look at all the different rigs? Are you able to play around with them a little bit beforehand? What's the process before going into the event?
No, they're very strict in not trying or touching the obstacles beforehand. So they publish a rule book with all the obstacles in, and you can read the rules and you can see the obstacles in person. But even that, they said you are not allowed to be in the on the event area before Thursday. So everybody got its first glimpse of the obstacles on Thursday.
Wow, I can only imagine like the the suspense of like kind of having a decent idea from the rule book, but like not seeing things until Thursday. That's kind of intimidating. And
It
then
really is, and it really gets your nerves up.
I bet that's a skill being able to handle that in itself. Um, Getting to the rule book, I heard, and I don't understand the full thing of it, but I heard that there was an issue with Ida from Denmark. There's some people like touching a string, and it's like that wasn't allowed. Like, how strict is this rule book? Is it like overwhelmingly large? How long does it take to go through that?
So it's a 100-page rule book, and they have made the real rules easier throughout the years. But still, if you don't study it, you're going to be in problem. And I think this is the major problem right now with this kind of race. You have to make the rules as simple as possible. So what happened was was in the final obstacle was a low rig, and the rule book said you were allowed to use both feet and hands on all parts. However, the Danish coach was somehow informed that you weren't allowed to use your hands on one part of that obstacle. So I was battling it out on the final obstacle, just passing the Danish guy and Jonas. And I came across the finish line, and that Danish coach started shouting to me, "You're going to be disqualified. You're doing it wrong. Weren't allowed to use the legs." So instead of being happy having won the race, I had to wait for his protest, then come to the organization. But in the end, what was the case is what I did was right and was in the rule book. But the Danish coach didn't understand it right. So this is one of the problems you have with such a rule book. Things like that can happen.
Yeah, that's got to be complicated, especially, I mean, the first thing that came to mind is race brain. The person writing the rule book isn't the person that's charging full steam competing against some of the best European OCR athletes in the world. And also thinking about the translation of the rule book too. Like I can only imagine what kind of care needs to be put into translating for all the different languages that are competing there. Um, that's crazy, and that you we never want something to like sully a victory like that, and for like I don't know that is I think that's something that has to be addressed. If it's 100 pages now, I can't imagine how much it was before.
In my opinion, and I gave them this feedback, a rule book shouldn't be more than one page. It should be start before this line in the obstacle and finish the obstacle by crossing this line or touching the bell, and leave as much interpretation for the athlete as possible. But that's my opinion, because the way it is now, it's just crazy. You have to study beforehand if you want to compete.
That is a bummer, and it does get rid of like the excitement of like, oh, this athlete's taking it on this way, this athlete's taking it on this way. It's like, oh, this athlete is doing it this way because if not, they will be penalized. Yeah, I definitely second that opinion. I can't imagine many people. I don't know who's making the rule book, but I don't. I feel like they may need some more athletes on that panel. I think that'd be good.
It's already a lot better than it used to be, because now they try to make the rules within a single obstacle the same. So before, it even used to be that the first part of the obstacle was hands only, then you could use your legs, and then it would be again hands only. But that's impossible, because you come running with a heart rate of over 200.
Hmm.
You're not hearing nothing. You just jump in the obstacle, and when there's a marshal saying, use your hands on the first bar, then touch this, then go with your feet there. That's just not possible.
Wow. That is a solid complaint, and I'm right there with you. I didn't realize how extra complicated it was. They definitely have to streamline that a little bit too. Um, so let's start for the 3K. Can you walk me through how your day went, how your race went with the short course?